Joromi, Joromi, sure Velusha, Boromeo. What other people was good? It's your boy Solar Baba in the building, the Common Sense President. Today I will be talking about Kogi election that will be coming up on the 30th of November this month, 30th of November 2019. And this is a re-election that was scheduled by INEC and the appeal court that it should be taken that it should take place as a repetition or a correctional election in place of the one that was held in the last 2 weeks, right? Yeah, in place of the one that was held in the last 2 weeks, which the governorship election and and the um the Senate and the Kogi West senatorial election as well took place, which took place the Kogi senatorial election. It took place after the Supreme Court has ordered for another election to take place between Senator Dino Melaye and Senator Smart Adeyemi of Kogi West. Senator Smart Adeyemi, I'm only trying to give you a preview of this. Senator Smart Adeyemi was once a senator in the Kogi West senatorial election, and a lot of people, I don't want to say this, but it is obvious, and we actually know what people were saying about uh, the policies and, let me say, the impact of Senator Smart Adeyemi compared to the impact of Senator Dino Melaye. We all know that one is better than the other. We all Yes, one is better than the other. Of course, one will surely be better than the other, and everyone know the one who is better, right? And from the look of things, even Senator Dino Melaye compared to the governor of the state, we also know that someone Dino Melaye performed to the extent that he is now seen, his popularity is being put on competition. The competition of his popularity is with the governor of the state, not with a fellow senator or a fellow senatorial candidate anymore. Yes, because the man was so popular and he really, really did well. Actually, some people might say, Smart Daddy Emi did well. Well, that's not what I'm here to discuss. But what I'm just saying, everyone know that Senator Dino Melaye is really, really popular, and his popularity is being compared to the likes of the governor. And the opposition in the state usually he fronts the opposition in the state against Yaya Bello, not against they were not using someone like Musa Wade and others. So the point I'm just trying to make here is this. The point I want to discuss today is that the election as it is coming, the APC are really, really preparing for how to rig the election in such a way that it will not favor Dino Melaye. The number one reason for this is that Buhari and his administration, the presidential cabinet and the Senate as well, APC seems to be a little bit more united than PDP. And apart from that, they are the ruling party and they seems a bit more united. Even though there are factions, there is the Tinubu faction and we have the Buhari faction as well. If you don't know, there is a faction. There are factions. So the Tinubu faction, or let's leave that aside first. The point I'm trying to make is that Buhari is trying to bring in a lot of laws that they know are against the fundamental human rights, and this is something that we all know that Dino Melaye used to fight for. This, I'm not doing this to praise him or something like that. And if you said I'm praising him, well, he's worthy to be praised for all he has done in the Senate, most especially in the Senate, in the Saraki-led Senate. We all see the impact he played and the role he played, right, in making sure that Buhari couldn't bring all these bills, all this hate speech bill, social media bill that they've been trying this for long. But the Saraki-led Senate, they rejected the issue. They rejected that move. But the Ahmed Lawan-led Senate, they are approving the bills, those bills that are against the will of the people and are against the comfort and freedom of the people and are against the fundamental human rights of the people. The Ahmed Lawan-led Senate is approving those things, those bills, and signing those things into laws. So that's number one. So they know that Dino Melaye is going to be a problem for them in the Senate. So that's the number one reason why they are trying everything that they can to get rid of him. It's not because of smart adeyemi or anything. All they are doing is to get rid of, yes, because this man has a big influence in the Nigerian Senate. You can see since the absence of Dino Melaye in the Senate, what's the name? This guy, Elisha Abu, Elisha Abu, this sex toy shop guy that was slapping a woman in the sex toy shop. Everybody can remember that guy. That guy, after his camaraderie and his face off with Madam Remi Tinubu, we can remember that Dino Melaye also had the fisticuff or a quarrel with Remi Tinubu as well, which they had a really really hot, tough argument. And after the one with between Elisha Abu and Elisha Abu, I don't know, Elisha Abu, whatever, you know the person I'm talking about, is a senator. So Elisha and Dino Melaye became, I think they became friends with the way they used to hang out, the way they used to sit together in the Senate, the way they started mingling together, even though they are in PDP. But that closeness I can see after that quarrel Elisha had with Remi Tinubu, that closeness became tighter. That friendship became tighter, or it became closer, right? So when this happens, I am really, really surprised that since the absence of Dino Melaye, a lot of bills that Nigerians have been preventing, or Nigerians seems to think that they can prevent on their own, has been passed. And the ones that haven't been passed are given a huge consideration. The hate speech bill, the social media bill, the VAT, the everything. VAT has been passed. Social media bill regulation, the hate speech thing as well. Can you imagine all these things just because a senator is out? That guy is really, really a thorn in the flesh of the APC government and the APC party. So my advice goes to the people of Kogi State. You guys have to really, really do something about your votes. You guys have to do something about your votes. Let me tell you one secret that you guys don't know today. In the last election, which was the election between Dino Melaye and Smart Adeyemi, and as well Musa Wada and Yaya Bello, I personally think Musa Wada was planted by APC in PDP, just like they planted Alimadu Sharif as well. Well, it's just a thought, it's just a thought. I'm not sure about that. I've got no evidence. But with some calculations, and my calculations are not wrong in most cases, right? Things like that. So what I see that happened was that you Kogi people, before I go into that, you Kogi people, you people have to stand by your votes. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. They can't kill you. The reason why the last election was bloody was because PDP was actually ready for the violence that they knew APC might cause. So they prepared for the war already. And they conquered them. PDP actually conquered them. All the election and panky that APC did on that day of the last election, in the last 2 weeks that was conducted, they did those things in not at the what's the name, except for the polling units that were scattered. They did most of those rigging at the collation centers and INEC office. Why? Because PDP actually prepared for war as well. They chased all the policemen and all these military men that were prepared to use to scare PDP officials off and PDP party agents off. Those people were chased and conquered. The police have no option than to fly the Nigerian police helicopter to start shooting down at their enemies. I'm telling you, PDP actually conquered them. But after all their trials, they were still able to win. They are still able to win. That's the number one thing why I've suspected Musa Wada, even though that's not enough reason. That's number one. And number two, PDP has really, really been reformed. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a member of PDP. But PDP has really, really been reformed that such that most of their primary elections are now free and fair, so as to make sure that there is coalition of support, and convergence of support for the party anointed candidate, and there wouldn't be factions, which is actually going on in PDP now. There's no faction and everything is going on well. But the point was that during the Kogi governorship, PDP Kogi governorship primary election, the thing didn't go free and fair, right? Some thugs came around and they scattered the election. Dino Melaye, while Dino Melaye was running for his life, his leg was bruised and things like that. Which shows that if that election was the doing of the likes of Musa Wada by their own, what's the name? Of course, someone that is not concerned or is not running in the race of the governorship governorship primary election, that kind of person wouldn't bring thug now. I mean, it is one of the contestants who has brought thugs, who has brought gunmen that are shooting people. And I don't think someone who would have carried the third position or fourth position would do that. It lies between Dino Melaye and Musa Wada, who contested in the primary election. But I don't know why PDP just remain. They like to be insensitive to the things they are supposed to be sensitive to. But instead, the primary election wasn't free and fair. Instead of them to cancel it and know what to do about it, I think Saraki was trying to be free and fair. He doesn't want to look like he's dictating on the party or something, like, even though he's one of the elder statesmen in the party right now, but he didn't want to look like he's dictating on the party or trying to impose Dino Melaye on them. Everybody knows that Dino Melaye is his anointed candidate, but so he didn't want, maybe that was why he didn't want to do that or something. They actually appointed the wrong candidate. To me, I think so. Of course. The primary election wasn't free and fair. But that's not the case here. I think PDP need to make a correction to that. The APC is planting people in PDP and sometimes buying their candidates so that they will weaken themselves for the APC candidates to be easy to defeat them. People with great intelligence will be able to understand this thing I'm trying to say. But well, Kogi people, stand by your votes. Stay with your votes. Make sure that your votes counts. This time around, even though we know and we are aware of what happened in the what happened in the last 2 weeks in the Kogi gubernatorial and senatorial election, what we are going to tell you is still that if you want a better future for Kogi and you want Kogi to go forward, I'm not from Kogi. Whomever you vote for on Saturday, which is in the next 3 days, Dino Melaye or Smart Adeyemi, whomever you vote for, defend your votes. Make sure your vote counts. Make sure your vote counts. APC don't wish you well. I'm not trying to campaign for anybody, but APC don't wish you well. There are still a lot of other parties that you can vote for. APC don't wish you well. That's all I've got to say. I wish Nigeria get better someday more than what it is now, or better than what we're having now.